Greetings and welcome back, gentles and ladiesmen, to episode FUBAR of Let's Play Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. I'm ExoParadigmGamer. Last time we arrived at the Torvus Bog and just sort of did some sightseeing, and we identified a bunch of enemies. And in this episode, we're going to be continuing to explore this place, hopefully finding a new pickup and reaching the temple, of course. I've been kind of bum rushy these past two parts, so I think I'm going to farm some energy real quick. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Dark Aether's atmosphere is like of no threat. I didn't know there was one of these in this room. I never bothered going into the lower floor, so the it's actually sort of like the lava and spawn from Metroid Prime 1. The Flogus waits patiently as it floats in murky water, searching for a meal. When the seismic sensors in its epidermis are triggered, it springs open rapidly to attack. Flow-G can generate localized seismic shockwaves to damage their prey. Central nervous system is exposed when it opens its mouth to attack. Damage this to stun the Flogus for a short time. So basically, they're platforms. You shoot them, they flip over, then you can jump on them. But we're not going to be going down there. By the way, that dark water hurts you really badly. Like about as badly as the atmosphere hurt you before the dark suit. So if you can help it, don't jump in there. At least not now. Once again, we have a puzzle where like you have to do something in the dark world to affect something in the light world. Something that gets a little underutilized in this game, but it is a way. There are some parts further in the game where like you actually have to solve some puzzles to actually open shortcuts actually, which is kind of neat, and we'll be seeing that later. But that's all we can do here for now, at least by my memory, and I've played this multiple times. So now that we've done that, the bridge has turned. Oh. I didn't think we'd be seeing these so soon. Hopefully I can get an identifier on them next time we see one. You guys will help me look, right? It's not like I'm recording this in real time and you can't help. Come on. Yes, this is the Dark Pirate Commando. The Ing prized the few pirate commandos they managed to take alive. Only Hunter Ing are allowed to possess the commandos, and the competition for that right is fierce among them. The Hunter Ing ability to phase out of local time-space carries over to the Dark Pirate Commando. They will fire bursts of dark matter at enemies along with experimental EMP grenades stolen from the space pirates. These guys basically are Chozo ghosts, because what they'll do is, most of the time you can't see them, and then eventually they'll stop in place and reveal themselves, and then you can attack them. And what's kind of annoying about that is like every time you start to target them and actually shoot at them, they usually disappear or something, and it's like they'll leave like a spectral sort of ghost of themselves for a little bit. Oh, hello there. Now the good news about these guys, unlike the Chozo ghosts, is that if you take too long to beat them, they'll actually just go away. So if you really want to, I think I killed it. No, I just knocked him off. No, he's dead. Another thing you guys have to realize is that I have the volume turned down so that I don't reverb. You know. And even that, because like I've been discovering, unfortunately, that there's some background noise in my recording files. There's really nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. Yeah, I think they left. And by the way, if a party of Dark Pirate Commandos show up, it will lock the door, and then you can't leave until you either kill them or they decide to go away. And I don't know, there's not as many of them as there were. I'm going to identify this lovely specimen up here. This is the Sporb. That is a fantastic name. The hanging spore sits patiently until a potential meal is detected. A burst of poison needles is the Sporb's primary means of attack. It can also extend its body over short distances, gripping small targets with its powerful jaws. I hate these things. Basically, they only exist to make morph ball sections more annoying, because you'll be going through a morph ball tunnel like this one, then all of a sudden it'll try to grab you with its jaws, In this case, I made things a little easier because I like shot it first before it could grab at me and stuff. There's a missile expansion over there, but lo and behold, there is a grapple beam point. The grapple beam is indeed back in this game. I can't remember if that was one of the things that was removed from us when we the targeting. I can't remember if at the beginning of the game when the Ing attacked us and stole our abilities, if that was one. Actually, yes, it is, because I don't want to spoil that. Never mind. Forget I said anything just now. It's my disease-addled brain acting up again. There's actually a shortcut tunnel you can open here. Is it made? Yeah, it's Denzium. We can't open it. And we have a bunch of... Oh, shit. Ugh, I should have just used the power beam. Luckily for me, we'll be getting an energy refill real soon, because up in this room is an energy tank. As you can see, this one's kind of broken, and if you scan it, I'm sure it's red. But break it open, you go down this little tunnel, and there you go. You got 4 energy tonks. Now, I think... Yes, I need to go in through the top floor, so we're going to be going back in here and then going back to the orb cannon real quick. If the shriek bats respawn, I'm gonna fucking kill someone. Oh my god, how are they already back? I thought the way that the game was designed was like, if you... From what I understand, the way the game handles loading is that while you're in a room, it loads the rooms behind it, and it loads the other rooms that room is connected to. So what should be happening is, while I'm in this room, it should still have the room behind us loaded. And then there should be there's still not shriek bats. So I'm confused as to how those shriek bats came back so quickly if I hadn't gone into this room in front of us and allowed the room behind us to reload and respawn everything. But ugh, now I'm just getting technical. I'm sure you guys don't care. Now we're gonna get attacked by Spache pirates. So of course, Dark Beam is your friend. Just rapid fire against them and they will go down in 5 seconds. Are there any more? Yeah, they just gotta come in their little skiffs. And speaking of which, I think that if you don't scan the skiffs here, you'll never see them again. So if you're going for your special scan log, for some reason, you might want to check that out. Okay. Now, the only thing about drawback to the Dark Beam is that its rate of fire is about as bad as the Freeze Beam from the first game. Which makes sense, seeing as the Freeze Beam and the Dark Beam share a lot of the same sort of abilities. Let's see. Yeah, I got him. So, like, charge shots seem to take them out almost instantly, but I think you only need 3 Dark Beam shots to take them out regularly. So you gotta be a little more economical when you think about how you want to kill enemies with the Dark and Light Beams, and possibly a 4th beam we may or may not be getting later. And, you know, like, a lot of people are like, oh, how dare a Metroid game have ammo for the beams? And it's just like, is that really that big of a deal? I mean, like, when I first heard that, I was just kind of like, okay, that's weird, that's interesting, because, like, believe it or not, when you're a kid and you can't drive and you're, like, interested in these games that you've never played, like, it's not really, you can't just go on the internet and buy them. You got to get your parents to do it for you. And so then at the time when I was sort of like exposing myself to these games in like junior high, boy, I'm sure that makes me look pretty young to some of you, but these games, the Metroid Prime trilogy came out when I was in 9th grade. Yeah. And to think that it was, to me, that was quite a few years ago. I mean, like, certainly not half my life, but a long time nonetheless. Anyway, yeah, we just got the super missile, and pretty useful if you're running low on beam ammo and you need something powerful that can take care of business. Of course, there are doors that you can only open with it, and now there's a bunch of areas we can go to that we couldn't go to before, so, you know. So now we're going to head into the Temple real quick. Yep. So as you can see, each temple has a room like this. I guess that's really the only incidents where where a Metroid Prime 2 sort of follows the pattern of its predecessor with sort of the repetitive level design, but lore we can't read until after this cutscene. I'm sure you guys know what's going to be happening. Someone's sassy. A great warrior comes to the Temple of Torvis. May you succeed where I failed. I am Avok, the last sentinel of this temple. Heed my words carefully. As you can see, this temple has been crippled by the ravages of war. While the main chamber has been mostly preserved, the remainder of the temple has been flooded. You must use your abilities to venture into these flooded areas and find the keys you need to enter the Dark Temple. The waters of Dark Ether are foul and venomous. Avoid them if you can. I have updated your translator module. You can access devices and doors coated with emerald holograms. Search the areas now open to you. The Aang will seek your light with great zeal. Do not underestimate them. The time for talk is over. Good hunting, and may the light of ether guide your aim. Avok. More like, Avok you to do my work for me. Am I right? Nah, though, I jest. So we've got lore here. The world warped. Amidst this turmoil, we discovered many disturbing anomalies. Spatial disturbances appeared across the land. Objects went to a state of dimensional flux, their atoms divided between ether and somewhere else. There was little time to ponder these strange happenings, for we had to deal with the devastation of our lands. I like how the Luminoth lore that you find in the projectors, of course, it's sort of like the Luminoth are leaving sort of time capsules of their battles, so if they fall and something happens to them, others can know of their history. And well, it's really fascinating, this sort of trans-dimensional, trans-species war that Metroid Prime 2 has framed. And like generally when there's like a huge war between species, it's like this big thing with these overly dramatic battles. Like I'm thinking of the Battle of 1,000 Heartless from Kingdom Hearts 2, for example. But this game, it's very much in the background, but it's still all around you. It's still omnipresent, sort of lording over you throughout the whole game. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do... Yeah, I think those are shriekers. Or shredders, or blue. We're actually going to go down here first, I think. Yeah, so this temple is actually not like the other temples. Out of all the temples in the game, this is by far the biggest. It actually has... Let's see, there are a bunch of gates we can open. I think one of these leads to an elevator and the other one leads to an ammo room that I don't think we can access. This elevator goes down to the bottom. I'm trying to remember what to do first. It's supposed to go... why don't we go this way first? Get some exploring done. There's a Grunchlearn here. And I'm actually going to show off the super missile strategy. Just get behind him, charge it up. That'll open up his shell like immediately. Now he's vulnerable to dark beam shots. And you can alternatively just hit him with another super missile if you want. And I was sort of getting into this before I interrupted myself, as I often do on this show. There's a missile expansion underneath there. That could be pretty easy to miss, especially if you're playing with the volume low like I am. That's actually one thing I may or may not have mentioned in this playthrough and the previous one, is that if there is a pickup you can get in the room, you'll hear sort of like a humming noise, and that'll... Wow, more lore already? Okay. The Ing attack. The day came when space was torn asunder, revealing dimensional rifts to a dark place. Horrible dark swarms streaked forth from those rifts, engulfing nearby creatures and transforming them into what we would come to call Darklings. The dark creatures became our enemies, and peace came to an end on Ether. I do have to say, I am glad that the lore is at least in sort of bite-sized pieces, so that it doesn't take too long to read. Let's see. I think we're gonna get attacked by Commandos. Yes, there we go. Hey there. So, as you probably guessed, since there are Dark Pirate Commandos, there are also Light Pirate Commandos as well. And these, I think, were they in the first game? I know for sure that they're in the third game. But anyway, Pirate Commandos dedicated to hunting the hunter. Space Pirate Commando units have been equipped with the latest weapons, including a variable pulse cannon, e-grenade launcher, and energy scythe. Powerful thrusters carry them at high speed over any terrain. A portable barrier shield repels most attacks, but can only be deployed for limited periods. Okay, so super missiles are good. I bet the dark beam is probably very effective. Yeah, let's try that against just this guy. Yeah, see, look at how fast that killed him. And this is on medium, you know. I'm sure that it's just as useful in hyper mode if I were to be playing that. And honestly, I'm almost kind of regretting not playing this game on hyper mode because it's a little too easy. And it's probably going to be one of the few times you guys will hear me say that about a game. Now, yes, I'm going to go this way. But I think I'm going to save it for next time. So, next time on Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, we're going to be heading through this rift portal, going to Dark Torvus Bog, and probably finding an important pickup. So, I'll see you guys then.
Thank you.